The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
And Phil.
What's up, guys? Dutchy talking in here. As always, God bless. Go first.
Let the celebration begin.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Eagles postgame show with Jac and Dalton. Proudly powered by TickPick, the official fan experience partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's take it to the show.
Wow. What a great game. What a great battle matchup of Pennsylvania. Almost literally spilled a drink there, which would have ruined everything, but coming up clutch in the end, just like this Eagles team has for, I believe now our ninth, if not 10th, I believe our ninth straight win. What an impressive one. What's going on, guys? Dalton from 302 Birds here. As of now, it's just me. That's why if it seems like I'm a little bit flustered, I'm just doing a couple of things at once. But I can't be the only one that felt like today, that game felt like everything was a playoff atmosphere. The cheesesteaks versus the pierogies, the sheets versus the Wawa, the Pennsylvania pinnacle. I mean, there was a chance today for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown to pipe down, quiet, shut up the media, and they did that and then some. Jalen Hurts didn't just throw a passing touchdown to A.J. Brown today. He also threw one to Smitty, and I don't know if he was 300 yards, but he was damn near it. As I saw at the end of the game, I know he was at least at 290 last time I looked. Yeah, rounds out the game today, 290, 78.1% completion percentage, and a 125.3 passer rating. We'll get to Jalen here more in a second, but whether you guys are on TikTok, we got 18 of you on here right now. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. Or if you're on YouTube hanging out with us, I appreciate the heck out of you. Let me know how you guys are feeling immediately in the post game, because boy, oh boy, 10 straight. Thank you, Shardy. It's been a great ride so far this year, and we're all hoping now that the Philadelphia Eagles will be able to close this thing out. I think that they will. But hey, let's get into our topic. So first topic of the day is going to be, are the Philadelphia Eagles going to be able to conserve Saquon Barkley? And by the looks of it, the way that they're playing today, how they handled it, yes. It's not about Dickerson's record anymore. At first, we all thought that it was, but it's not anymore. Right now, at this point for the Philadelphia Eagles, what it's about is it's about winning games. It's about making sure that the team is healthy going into the playoffs, making sure that everybody's confident where they're supposed to be, knowing their assignments. And if that means that Saquon Barkley is going to get the ball a little bit less because Gainwell needs to learn and needs to get more opportunity, that's what that's going to mean. For anybody that was upset today, I mean, Barkley had 19 attempts, 65 yards, and he averaged 3.4 yards per carry. So he was efficient. It wasn't like he had a bad day by any means, but he's not, necessarily putting up the normal Saquon Barkley stats, which is crazy because the normal for Saquon Barkley, what we've seen throughout the year, I mean, his yard per carry stat this year has got to be something absurd. Let's just see real quick. Throughout the season, he is averaging 6.1 yards per carry. That's insane. So, yeah, I want the Eagles to conserve him, keep him healthy, keep him happy. And if that means that he doesn't have to go after Dickerson's record, so be it. If it means that he gets Dickerson's record, awesome. I'm not saying that I don't want him to get it. I want him to get it. That would be insane for history, for the city of Philadelphia, for Saquon Barkley himself, and just for the sport of football. It would be absurd. But in my opinion, if that means that he's going to be beat up or not the same player that he is heading into the playoffs, then that's kind of where I'm like, okay. For those of you guys on TikTok, come join right now on our YouTube. We're live right there. The post-game show is way better on our YouTube, and I'd appreciate the hell out of it. Dake, if you want to call in to the post-game show on YouTube, shoot me a text because I know you. I appreciate you. Keep holding it down. But, yeah, I'd rather the Eagles conserve Saquon Barkley. I know what he's capable of, and, we know what we have with him when he's healthy. So I would rather that be happier than healthy. Jac's going to be jumping on here in a second. We'll let him get into how he feels about Saquon, but just keeping the show moving. Jalen Hurts today was exceptional. Like I said, 78% completion percentage, 290 yards. That's more yards than the past 2 games combined for him passing, Panthers and Ravens. And an extremely efficient day, like I said, 78% completion percentage and a passer rating of 125, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Yeah, there was that fumble that TJ Watt had. You got to give TJ Watt credit on that. That was just a great football play. Aware, smart, but it's been a while since we've seen Jalen Hurts kind of push up that number, be a little bit greedy with it, and have his way. And he did that today. I think he knew, Devontae Smith knew, A.J. Brown knew, Nick Johnny knew, Ellen Moore knew, Saquon Barkley knew. Everybody knew that this offense had to come out swinging to silence the haters. Jackson, how you doing?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you feeling about this game today with Jalen Hurts quieting down the haters?
Yeah, definitely is a statement game for sure. This was, the Battle of Keystone States. The first couple of drives he had was pass, run, pass. And, he upped those numbers, those receiving yards. And that was huge. And I don't think he was going to silence the haters, but mainly going to just show him that he's still a good quarterback. And sure enough, he showed up for sure.
Are you talking to me?
I was just talking.
Oh, sorry. I was checking out. I'm trying to get some people to join from our TikTok, telling them how great the post-game show is. But how did you feel about, let me ask you another question. Joker profile picture. Is there a correlation? And did you bet today on an A.J. Brown touchdown?
No, I did not bet at all. I have probably retired from betting for quite some time until the playoffs because I just haven't had the greatest turnout while betting. And not even that, it's not stressful watching a game, like knowing that you have bets to place. So, A.J. Brown, he had, 100 yards today. I'm not even sure what he had. Let me check real quick. Bear with me, boys and girls. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown had 8 receptions for 110 yards with 1 TD. So I think this was a great game. We kind of knew that Jalen Hurts was going to throw to A.J. Brown a lot today, and it seemed like the Steelers' defense didn't really show up at all. So hopefully A.J. Brown's okay because towards the end of the game, he went down on that hip tackle from one of the Steelers' defense players. So hopefully he's healthy for next week. I mean, we got the biggest games out of the way. Granted, Commanders is going to be a tough game, but it's great to see this team be so successful against the Steelers because the Steelers aren't a easy team. They are a tough team. So seeing them perform like they did today, it worked out because we've known that these games that we should win by a lot, they're usually the closer games, and the games that should be close, like games like this Ravens game, we end up winning by a touchdown or 2. So I think this team is legit, and A.J. Brown, having him I think he got every receiver the ball today, I think. Kenny G had a great game. Calcaterra had 1 reception. So it was a great comeback game after Monday and Tuesday of last week, how it all kind of spiraled out of control.
Yeah, it was. It felt like a more confident win. Now, last weekend, shout out to my girlfriend, Alyssa, shout out to Jack, and shout out to KJ for covering me on the post-game show. But Alyssa and I were in Philadelphia, and we were at this bar, and I was trying to watch the game the best I could, and they just looked sloppy. I know that the whole team was frustrated. There was that drama that happened after, but they really put it to sleep. So shout out to the Joker game. I thought that it was all bullshit personally with the profile picture. I was kind of like, oh, here we go. Like, this team is just creating drama just to create drama. But hey, if making your profile picture of the Joker makes you a fucking beast like you were today, I want you to make your profile picture every different version of fucking Joker each week, if that's what it takes leading up to the Super Bowl. So moving on to our next topic, which is, do you think that the Eagles are the best team in the NFL? The Bills win this afternoon. The Eagles win this afternoon. Jack, I'll let you take it first.
Yeah, I mean, being an Eagles fan, I like to say that, yeah, they are the best team in the NFL. But the Lions, granted, we knew this Bills game was going to be a tough game for the Lions because the Lions came off of a tough loss. Not the Lions. The Bills came off a tough loss against the Rams last week, and we knew they were going to come back, take a name. So the Bills, Josh Allen has really nothing really to work with this whole season. So, I would like to say that probably in the NFC, the Eagles are the best team. In the AFC, I still got to give it to the Bills. Chiefs are 12-1, but their whole season this year has been questionable at best. I mean, some of these games they've won, they should have won. I watched a few minutes of the Browns-Chiefs game today, and the Chiefs only put up like 7 points within the first, quarter and a half. So the Chiefs aren't that good. And I think the Bills, this is kind of scary for us because Josh Allen is playing great football and, we got to keep playing. I hope, we'll probably play our starters next week and then rest them in 2 weeks. But I will say that for sure in the NFC, Eagles are the best team. In the AFC, I would say the Bills.
Yeah, well, now we're tied with those freaking wretched Lions after that loss today. You root for the Bills, but in the same way, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want them to get all that confidence because they are going to be a very good team. And they're that team that you don't want to face in the Super Bowl. There are two teams from the AFC that I don't want to play in the Super Bowl. It's obviously the Bills and then the Chiefs, just because I think that our offenses are going to struggle against them. And I believe the last time we played both of those franchises, we won. So that's almost not a good thing, not an advantage for the Eagles. But we'll see. We'll see. New Orleans, hopefully here we come is the way I'm feeling, Jack. I do think that the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. I think that the way that this season is going to shake out, the way that momentum is going to shake out, things feel different this year. From start to finish, they felt different. Every other franchise in Philadelphia has let us down. Philadelphia Eagles, please don't let us down because we need something different. I mean, it's got to be a different story. I want a parade. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to see everybody with a smile on their face, just happy of what this team has done and accomplished, what this city has accomplished. And the team's capable of it. You look at the way that Tom Brady was praising that offense today on the broadcast, just talking about how they can go any which way they want with it. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. Who is it? What's it going to be? How do you want it? You let me know. But like Haven said, today, the Philadelphia Eagles in the Pennsylvania Pinnacle showing that they own Pittsburgh Squealers. Heard it here first. And a little quick advertisement in the show, a quickie advertisement. If any of you guys like the shirt in the background there, we'll do it again at the end, but they're available right now in the bio. You can support the podcast if anybody, if you know, I'll leave it at that. But Dallas still sucks and shitter's full. Heard it here. But I'm going to not lie. Vic the Mick, Grandpapa, he's been locked in. He's looked really good. This defense has looked disciplined. Jack, you want to go ahead and take this one first? I mean, how are you feeling about the defense heading into the playoffs and this last stretch of games?
Yeah, the defense is looking really good. I mean, especially today, they came out guns blazing. They haven't struggled really the past few games, but especially today, this defense looks really good. They held the Steelers to, opening drive. So yeah, this defense is playing great football. I mean, we got the exciting whites playing great football. And Nolan Smith had a great game today. Jalen Carter, my biggest thing with him is he needs to stop making these dumb mistakes. He cost us a penalty by punching somebody, got somebody in the helmet, which that doesn't need to happen. But other than that, I mean, Vic Fangio has this defense locked in, and I had known this from day one that Vic Fangio being the new defense coordinator is a great move. And, it took some time for these players to understand how he is as a coach. But I think they have all bought in and they're playing great football. I mean, especially today, the offense kind of helped out the defense immensely in the second half because the past 2 weeks, the defense has been on the field the majority of the second half, not really getting a breather at all. So getting them breathers today was huge. And, couldn't be happier. Quinyon Mitchell again, locking down the receivers. Zach Bond, he had a great play. Didn't get the tackle. I guess he got assisted, tackle assist, but he read that play like a book. It was like a tight end screen or whatever, and he read it just like a book, got the guy, kind of stopped him in his footsteps, and then we got the gang tackling. So, yeah, Vic Fangio has this defense balling, and Cooper DeJean's been playing great football. Jalen Carter's been playing great football. Jordan Davis, I need to see a little more out of him. Quentin Williams, I don't know if he was injured or what, but I didn't really see much out of him today. But Quinyon Mitchell's playing great. But yeah, this CJ, oh God, that man is a dog. He is a complete and utter alpha male. So this defense with Vic Fangio, yeah, I think it took him a few weeks for this team to get locked in, but I think they're locked in and going to the playoffs. I think we're a force to be reckoned with on defense. You're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Randy, I see you in here, man. Appreciate you joining. Joey, I see you in here. Conrad, thank you guys to our regulars who are joining in. But like you said earlier, Jack, the key word that I want to take away, buy-in. When everybody buys into one cause, to one thing, and does what somebody believes in and gets behind a vision, beautiful things happen, whether it be on the football field, whether it be in life, whether it be in anything. So it's nice to see that all these young guys are kind of just like, all right, you know what? I may not agree with everything that Vic Fangio says, but for the betterment of this team, for the betterment of myself, and the best chance of myself going out and getting a Lombardi this year, I'm going to buy in. And the guys are locked the hell in. Let's get to some of our call-ins here. So I know we got Chris backstage. I know Dake should be calling in here in a second. I'm going to be texting him the list. But Chris, how are you feeling post-game immediately? How are your thoughts?
Dude, I am so pumped up for this win. It's one I didn't think they were going to win. I thought, the Steelers would be one of those tough, grind us down type teams. But Jalen Hurts did something I didn't think he was going to be able to do, and that's throw the football. He hasn't looked this good throwing the football all year. I think this is probably one of his better games he's had since the Super Bowl year. Just incredible. Not really taking too many of those stupid sacks. There was one or two where it's like, all right, get rid of the football. But besides that, I mean, he was damn near perfect. Even when things weren't going right, they were going right for this offense. Saquon didn't have that great of a game, but didn't matter. So I was so pumped up for that. The only thing that really pissed me off is the Jalen Carter thing. Honestly, like that you just can't take that penalty there. They're
Right.
really lucky that happened after the punt, or else you're giving the Steelers the ball in field goal range, and they could have made that a one-score game real quickly. So I just wanted to get your thoughts more on that Jalen Carter thing a little bit. And do you think, maybe he should get benched for a series or something next game, or some type of discipline?
Yeah, I think he should. Games that matter, especially like one today or, down the line in the playoffs. Yeah, you can't be doing that. That's a costly mistake. And, you can't be costing the team some yards. So Yeah, I think bench a few drives. I'm not saying sit the whole game because he is a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, I mean, definitely costly. You can't be doing that shit. But Jalen Carter has always been that kind of person that can never always plays with a grudge, which is great to have. But at the same time, that can bite you in the ass down the road. Because, this game got a little chippy in the first couple of minutes, and Jalen Carter, again, was there. But he lets that shit eat at him, and then he just makes these dumb mistakes. So, yeah, I agree. I think he should be benched for, I would say 2 to 3 drives. 2 drives. I'll give it 2 drives. So that's my take on that.
I don't know if I would bench him. I didn't see the thing either because I was making the graphics for this, so guilty as charged. But I do agree with what you guys are saying, and hearing the extent of if you're not playing smart when you get to those key situations at the end of the game where everything that you've worked for, moreover your team has worked for too, because football is such a team sport. If you're not willing to be disciplined in those moments, what are you doing? Quinyon Mitchell, somebody too today. He got into it. Now look, you watch the film and you see it, and football is obviously an emotional sport, so it is what it is. But there are times I'll say that it is okay, not okay, but like you get away with it. And there are times that it isn't. And it all depends on really what quarter it is. It's not rocket science. Quinyon Mitchell was doing that stuff in the first quarter. So it really wasn't the end of the game yet. Nothing great. If you're doing that stuff in the fourth quarter and not aware of it, you got to get a better head on your shoulders. And I hate to say that because Jalen Carter's such a sharp player, but I hope that walking away from this game, it'll make him even sharper to where he's more disciplined now moving forward. And somebody in that team, in that locker room, takes him aside and says, hey, there's a different way to go about this. I understand you're upset. There's been a lot of moments for him. It's been an emotional season for Carter. We've seen him post some DMs that people have sent him throughout the year. And just a lot of things that I know that it's not easy being an NFL player. It's easier said than done. But as a professional, as an athlete, when you're in that key situation in the game, you got to be able to keep a head on your shoulders because that game was virtually out of place for the Steelers and they weren't making it any easier for themselves. So luckily, it ended up still being out of reach, but don't even give them a chance. What are you going to say, Jack? Sorry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I personally, again, with social media, I think the NFL players that are playing in the current season should not be able to touch their social media at all because little things like that can, cause bigger issues. So I think they should not be able to touch their social media. And again, you saw Sirianni was pissed, and it looked like the D-line coach was defending Jalen Carter. I don't know what that was all about, but yeah, you gotta hold your guys accountable. And I think Sirianni had all the right to freak out like he did. Because, if this was, call it, the Super Bowl, there was 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I don't know. The opposing team had the ball and we're up by a touchdown or a field goal. And this penalty happens that puts them in, in the red zone or how it gives them a chance to score. That shit can't happen. So that's all I got to say. And
Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be – there's got to be some type of discipline at this point. Like, we see it. He doesn't really get flagged for it often, but you could see there's, like, too much extracurricular stuff that happens way too often with him. And I know he's already got that target on the back from what happened in college. And, that happened in college. But, like, you can't be doing stuff like that. You're already going to attract a bunch of attention from the refs as it is. So I that's something that just needs – he's young. Like, hopefully he can calm down a little bit. And I do think it's a good thing that, the Eagles weren't back there on defense because I don't know if he was going to get benched for the rest of the game. I think that may have been the argument there between Hurt and who's the D-line coach and Sirianni is, okay, are they going to – like, were they going to bench him or, like, what was going to happen with Carter for the rest of the game? Because, I mean, you just can't do that. And they're lucky that it happened after the punt. Because if not, I mean, we could have been looking at a different football game.
Yeah, they can't be having the dumb shit, especially as we go into the playoffs. I know that's what you want to say. That's what I want to say, Chris. What are you sipping on there? That looks pretty good. What do you got? A Go Birds kind of drink?
So yeah, it's I call it Go Birds. It's got real blue curacao in it, pineapple juice, and a little bit of coconut rum.
Ooh, that looks really good. It looks like a little Baja Blast on steroids kind of action.
It's good. I probably drank way too many of these today, but Go Birds anyway.
Well, I got one more question before we get you out of here, Chris. Did it feel like a playoff atmosphere to you today? And going off of that, a follow-up question to that, would you say if it did, that the Eagles handled it well?
I mean, you could tell that the first drive there, they were amped up. It did feel playoff like in that aspect. I felt like the team just came to play and they wanted to shut up all the noise, and they did that. You know, I was a little bit worried coming in the game that they were going to try to throw the football too much and they were going to force stuff, and Jalen was going to turn the football over a bunch. But you know, they fought through not only the Hurts fumble, but the DeJean fumble as well, and were able to, you know, get back on track. And the crowd was amped up. You know, usually like when the Steelers come to town, you can hear them a lot. Didn't really hear them too much on the broadcast this time. I'm not sure how it was there in person. KJ will tell us that. But yeah, it felt like a playoff game, and I'm confident. You know, I think this team's a lot more legit than I thought they were a couple weeks ago. Like, I think we are looking at, you know, an NFC championship type team, potentially Super Bowl, but I don't want to say that yet. Because the Lions are still, I know the Lions got beat by the Bills today, but the Lions are a damn good football team still.
Yeah, they are. They're legit, and they look strong. They look confident, and sometimes somebody said it last week on NFL Network to the extent of how sometimes being the number 2 seed is an asset for a team. That you're just as good as the 1 seed. You still get the bye, I believe, but you almost have that underdog mentality going in, and you have less to lose. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'd rather that the Eagles play smart. They had a big break today, obviously, with George Pickens being out for the Steelers and some other injuries. I know KJ said that it was also kind of warmer there. He said it wasn't as cold as he thought that it would be. He's saying that they were waving those piss-colored towels for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And going off of one more comment here, too, I know I got to get back up to it. I know Jac's doing them. So if you want to call in, I know we have one more call in today. But let me know. Shoot us like a message on Instagram or Facebook or whatever media outlet works for you. We'll see it. And then next week, if you want, we can call in, because I promised the Dake, wherever he's at, if he's still calling in. Dake, if you're here, man, now's your warning. Get on here. But
Reed Blankenship MVP.
Yeah, I mean, go with Dennis. How are you feeling about that, Reed? Where is Reed? He's still out, right? He didn't play today. I didn't even see
He played
him.
today.
He played today.
Did?
Yeah.
Okay.
The exciting whites were damn exciting, besides the little fumble that I refuse to believe happened. It didn't happen. But you know, this secondary really came along. I know they didn't really play anybody great in that wide receiver room there for the Steelers, but you just like look, Quinyon Mitchell, incredible. Slay finally got a big play. The ball bounced to him and he picked it up. It feels like that's the first big play that Slay has made in years. But I just like the way this defense is playing. And I still don't know if they're like at their peak yet. Like, I feel like, you know, Jalen Carter, there's a couple times where like, okay, he's going to get through here, and he doesn't get through. He gets held and it's not called or something like that. I feel like Jalen Carter, as the year goes on, will probably get better, as long as these penalties don't start to add up. If that happens, then we're looking at a Derek Barnett situation. We don't want that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, 10 in a row. That's crazy. 10 in a row, which is insane. And this defense and offense is looking great because, you know, I will say this, we were very run heavy the past 9 weeks. And then obviously, like you said, Chris, like Saquon Barkley, was kind of quiet today. He still had 70 some yards, maybe 65 or whatever. But yeah, I mean that goes to show that he had, how many did he have? Bear with
Yeah,
me.
it's 65 on the ground
Yes.
and 9 in the air, something like that.
Yeah. But
He
that
looked
goes to
hurt
show,
though.
he definitely got hurt by Minka Fitzpatrick. So, but that just goes to show that this team, it can go the distance and is deep, because we were relying on the run game for 9 weeks, and then that wasn't working today, and then we had the throw game. So, that just goes to show, and I really do think Jalen Hurts looked, made smart decisions today, running out of the pocket when he needed to. He had that sick kind of flip that would have been a lot sicker if we got the first down. But yeah, I mean, great win, and it's exciting to see this team, how successful they've been the past couple weeks.
Yeah, they feel like they're pretty elite right now. The one gripe, I just want to say this before you guys let me go. One gripe I have, and it's something I noticed that the Super Bowl team in 2017 did, that this one doesn't seem to do, is get points before halftime on those short little. I don't think they had 45 seconds, but I just remember Carson Wentz throwing that little out route to Alshon Jeffrey, getting to some field goal range, getting a field goal before half. I feel like that's something really big that can really put a shot into the Steelers, especially since we got the ball out of half too.
Yeah.
And I guess just Jalen's not the same type of quarterback that Wentz was, and I don't know if he can really make that corner throw like Wentz could. But that's one thing that I notice. Not that it's a huge deal, but it's something that might be concerning. Like against the Bills, that's something you would definitely like to have.
I agree. Like if you have the ball, call it 50 seconds or whatever it may be, in the last 2 minutes, in halftime, you definitely should get some kind of points on the board, because those points may not matter in the moment, but down the road, later in the game, those points can matter. So putting some kind of effort, trying to push and get those points would be huge. And I think that is, like you said, something that we're missing. And I think it would be ideal for us to have going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they got to be able to get points before halftime. That's such a key thing for good football teams. I'm glad you pointed that out, Chris, because that's something that they really haven't been able to do all year. They got lucky at the end of the first quarter today that they got points, but they really haven't just had that. Remember when Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick had that touchdown first play against the Redskins?
Oh, yeah.
Insane. They haven't had that kind of exciting moment to kick off a game yet. And when they do have one, I think we'll all quiet down about it. But until they do, then I'm a little bit concerned. But Chris, I want to thank you, man, for jumping on here with us, talking some birds. We appreciate you. If you guys don't
Birds,
follow,
Sláinte.
Appreciate you guys. Go Birds. See you next Saturday on 7 Sports.
We'll see you then, bro. Take care. So, Jack, I want to give you a chance to answer this question while we see if Dennis is going to hop on. How do you feel about conserving Saquon Barkley? Because that's a hot topic right now. He didn't play a lot today. Only 19. Well, he got the ball a fair amount. 19 attempts, 65 yards, averaging 3.4 yards per carry. Not a typical day for Barkley, who's averaged 6.1, I believe, throughout the year per carry.
Yeah. Well, I think it was 6.1 in the past 9 weeks. I'm not sure if it was all year round, but I think it's within the last 9 weeks. Hey, I mean, yeah, it'd be really cool for him to break Dickerson's record. That would be awesome for us as Eagles fans to say that, Saquon Barkley broke Shady McCoy's single season rushing record, and also Dickerson's rushing record as well. But hey, I mean, Saquon Barkley has had a history, especially being at the Giants, of injuries with his calves, with his quads, and things of that nature. So I think by conserving him, I would still, I think Shardy said it, maybe KJ said it, that a perfect amount of attempts for Saquon Barkley moving on forward I would say is 15. And he was a little over that today, but by conserving Saquon Barkley, give the ball more to Kenny G, you can conserve Barkley for the playoff runs where we will most likely utilize him the most. So I'm all for it because we have the best receiver tandem in the league. I wouldn't say in the league, but in top 5. And you got to rely on Jalen Hurts, to get the ball down the field. And, if we need to utilize Saquon, we can. But I think as of right now, we have we have 3 more weeks left, right? I think we should conserve him as much as possible and limit his carries to 15.
Yeah, with 19 today, I'm not upset at that. He can still get Dickerson's record, taking the ball 13 to 18 times a game. I want to be clear about that to everybody. They don't need him to run the ball 25 times a game to go out and beat Dickerson's record. With that guy, it just takes one run with him. He could be on the 20-yard line. It could be a touchback. Well, I guess the 25-yard line now. And it could be a touchback, and he could just house it for 75 yards on the first play. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when with Saquon Barkley. And that's a scary thing for any defense. That's why I think for the Eagles, it makes more sense for them to just keep him healthy for the playoffs. Look, all for Dickerson's record, want to see it happen. I know a lot of people do, but they better have a healthy Saquon Barkley. If he does both, oh my God. Could you imagine the hat trick? He gets the MVP, he breaks Dickerson's record, and the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's fantastic too. But guess what, guys? Guess what we're going to be talking about the day after the Super Bowl? If we're in it, if we play in it, no matter what happens. What about next year? So that's the thing too that we all got to keep in mind. We have this guy, I think, for, is it 3 years? Saquon Barkley's locked up now?
Yeah, he signed the 3-year contract with us, yes, for $37 million.
So 3 years, we have the best player in the NFL. Don't make him out to be like Christian McCaffrey, where it's almost like teams don't know how to use him. The Panthers overused him, and then the 49ers just didn't know the right time to use him, and now they're just stuck. Because if the Eagles don't have Saquon Barkley, it doesn't allow A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and all of those guys to be able to play at the high level that they do. You know what I mean? Like that, the only reason that they had that game today is because they're also focusing on Saquon Barkley and knowing, okay, this is the MVP. We got to keep an eye on him. Shout out to AJ and Devontae. They both had great days. Don't want to discredit what they did either. Like I said, the Joker profile picture was in full effect, but
because AJ had 110 yards and Smith had 109 yards, which is
insane.
Awesome.
220 yards between his top 2 wide receivers. If you want to talk about ball distribution, fellas, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, I just feel confident after this game. The Steelers are no joke. Any year, they're not a joke. They're not a bad team, but this year specifically, they're really good. It's all good, Dennis. With this mic, it won't work. We've tried it before in the past, but I think that's pretty much all we got, unless you have anything else you want to say, Jack, before we wrap up.
All I got to say is we scored in every quarter today. We had some kind of points in every quarter, which we haven't had all season. So, and that's this game against the Steelers is an important game for that to happen. So, yeah, I mean, we're on a 10-game winning streak. We are 11-2. 12-2. My fault. 12-2. And yeah, this team is rocking on all cylinders. We have in divisional games the next 3 weeks. I think the Commanders game is going to be a tough one, but this is a great win. I am so happy for this team. We have the confidence back in Jake Elliott because Jake Elliott drilled some kicks today. So it was nice to see that confidence grow back because you saw when he made that first 48-yard field goal, just the joy that just came across his face. So it's nice to see him because he's reliable. We're going to need to utilize him, when it matters. So yeah, great win, 27-13, and can't be happier.
Yeah, Can't be happier is a great way to put it. Now, next week, the Philadelphia Eagles head down to the wretched Washington Commanders Stadium to get ready to play the Commanders on December 22nd. I believe, is it a 4 o'clock or is it a 1 o'clock game, Jack? Do you know?
Give me like 2 seconds. I think it's a 1 o'clock game.
I think you're right. So if anybody will be at that game, let us know. I don't think any of us will be there, but if anything changes, it'll be announced on our Instagram. 1 o'clock?
Yep.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Jack and I will be here to cover it for you guys next weekend as we get ready to head into Christmas weekend. And Santa Claus, we've been good this year. All we want this year for Christmas is a motherfucking Super Bowl. Please, 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 just give me one more. I just really want it. It would feel really good. And last but not least, before I pass it off to Jack, like I said, we'll be here next week. Want to thank Next Pizza as well for sponsoring the show today. If you guys want to buy one of those shirts, right now only $26. Link is in the bio right now. You can go cop one for yourself and support the podcast. A great Christmas gift for some friends, some family, anybody you know. Go check them out. But Jackson, go ahead and take us out of here because it's going to be a happy week as we get ready to go play the Commanders and potentially sweep the team that's given us a lot of a tough time in the past couple of years.
Yeah. Like I said, great win. This is going to be, next 3 weeks are going to be rough. But go Birds! Hey, Josh! It's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
This is for you.